Morning Stampers, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps and this is Maker Mornings with Meg Friday. We do a Friday dance. So I am quite happy to show you this card this morning. Actually, I'm gonna show you two cards. And when I was flipping through the book, through the catalog, this little guy right here, I was looking for something that kind of extends the season. So it's not just fall, it's not just Christmas, just has a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna show you two cards this morning. One will be fall and one will be Christmas. And the other day I shared a card using blending brushes with you and the Pretty Pumpkin stamp set. Here's one of them. Several of the others have already gone out in the mail, but I got a lot of great comments on this, that people really liked the blending brush technique and different ways to use that. So I wanted to highlight that again today, but with a different version of the technique. So today we're going to do some masking, and the stamp set that we're going to use is Time of Giving. It's this one right here. So it's on page 61, and it's kind of a sleeper set. So it falls pretty far back in the book. It doesn't have a specific designer series paper that matches it. And you can see a lot of the samples for it are tags, which a lot of people sometimes look at that and they're like, I don't want to make tags. First of all, tags are really fun. They're quick and easy. But second of all, this stamp set is definitely not just for tags. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So stamp set here, Time of Giving, and the anatomy of the stamp set, I guess. It has leaves, it has a little grain, it has Thankful, Merry, Boo, so you could use it for Halloween-y kinds of things. And it has a couple of Christmas greetings, and then this snow swirl, and this polka dot background, which is gonna come in handy. I'm gonna tell you why I love that image so much. And then the true gem of this is the combination with the gift giving dies, is what they're called. And they're bundled together, so you can get the two of them together at a 10% discount. 15%? Okay, 10%. Anyway, 10% discount. I should pay more attention to that thing. Anyway, so you probably want to order them together, and that will get you a little bit ahead. Yeah, 10%. Okay. So if you are thinking about all the bundles that you love, be sure also to think about the Celebration special, which runs out September 30th, where you can get a free bundle along with the stuff that you pick in your demonstrator starter kit. More information about that on my website at lovenstamps.com. Okay. This one's not in the free bundles, but don't let that stop you. You can get one of the other bundles from your wish list for free and put this one in your starter kit. All right, I'm gonna flip you guys down. Sorry, I didn't say my good mornings. Hey, Gladys, it's Sue, Robin, Jan, Cindy, Kathy, Melinda, Tanya, Deborah, Trish, Margie. You guys are like on top of it this morning. Friday's always a great day to kind of get some stamping ideas, right? Get you started for your weekend. So can't wait to hear what everybody has planned for their weekend. Our weekend will be filled with marching band. It's retreat weekend, and the marching band finishes their show, and it's so much fun, and they go away to camp, and just a good time. All right, so let's bring in our stamps here, and pardon my arm in the way. So we're going to use the leaves here, but we're gonna do some prep work before we get to them. And I'm gonna talk about my colors. So the other day I used different colors. I wanted to start with something really light, so pale plum is my choice for that. And then I kind of wanted a red and a purple, so I went with Poppy Parade. Poppy Parade is a bright saturated red, and Rich Razzleberry is a deep purple, but not quite as dark as Blackberry Bliss. All right. And I decided we're gonna use vanilla for our card because something about vanilla feels a little more fall-y to me. And rather than stamp directly on here, this is a simple stamping card that doesn't use a lot of crazy layers or tools necessarily. And so we're just gonna do cardstock on cardstock, but we're gonna stamp on a layer because I really like just having that extra vanilla layer on there. So, hey Kim and Gladys from Atlanta. So let's get our stuff set up here to do some masking. So I have my Post-it notes here, and you're gonna want a Post-it note that goes all the way across your paper, and I actually want two of them. So the first one I'm going to tear, And you can tear with some, you know, crazy pattern or whatever if you want to. I'm gonna worry less about the crazy pattern now because I can always kind of angle it on my project, which I think I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna cover up just maybe the bottom a little less than, or a little more than a third, a little less than a third. Okay, so I've got that on there. And then I'm going to add a mask to the top of our card. Now, I love stamping on grid paper. This is something you can order. I didn't put it in a supply list. I don't know why. But I love stamping because I can now use my grid lines to line up and make sure that my paper is straight. So I've got my paper straight, and I'm going to also get my mask straight. There we go. Okay. All right. So now I could move this if I want to. All right. So colors. We're going to use our blending brushes, and we're going to start here with Pale Papaya. So I have my sort of light orangey blending brush. Remember, swirl on your pad to pick up color, and then swirl on your project to apply the color to your paper. Now, with a lighter color, it's a little less important. I'll remind you again when we do the darker color, but you're going to want to start most of your sponging off the edge of your paper and then come on so you don't get big smudges. All right, so there is our pale plum. And you'll notice that we have this mask on here that's kind of protecting the bottom edge of our card from being inked in with a fun shape. So I'm gonna do Poppy Parade now and kind of swirl this on too. And you can see, like, if I put that spot right there on my project instead of the scratch paper, then I would have gotten a quite a bit, you know, darker, smudgy kind of pattern than I might have wanted. All right, I'm gonna leave a little space over there. If you get inky fingers, remember that your chamois are great for removing some of that color. And then last one here is gonna be Rich Razzleberry, and I've got my last blending brush. Somebody always asks, I generally keep one for reds and one for oranges, but you can wash them. They do give up their ink very nicely, so there will be kind of a breeze to get clean and so forth. I think I'm gonna end up with just a little more of the Pale Papaya right in there. Okay, now it's really important, do not take your masks off yet because we're not finished, okay? So what we wanna do is we want some of our elements to be within this mask, and then we want some of our elements to be outside the mask so that they really show off that sort of differential between the mask and not mask. So I'm gonna grab that leaf stamp that we talked about, and I'm going to stamp some leaves on here. And as I'm going, I'm gonna kind of rotate so that we get a different orientation of the different leaves. And I'm gonna try and fill in, oops, okay, get your ink pad out of the way so it's not bumping you. I'm gonna try and fill in there. So we want some of them to go quite over the edge and so forth. There's like a little blurb there. I'll just take my chances there. I just added one leaf to cover up that little smudge. All right, now I'm also not gonna take my mask off yet because, like I said, I love this speckle stamp. And what it does is it really creates like an extra layer in this area between the foreground and the background. So our leaves, if you think about it, they're like the foreground. They're the part that's really interesting, right? And then our smudged ombre background is the back layer. And so these are gonna kind of give us a little bit of distinction that's kind of between the background and the foreground. So I'm gonna grab my red, and remember, when you're using a stamp like this that doesn't have much surface area, you wanna be gentle when you stamp so that you don't smash the heck out of the pattern, okay? Get a bunch of overstamping. All right, so see how that works? So we're going to take our masks off now. This reveal is like my favorite. Look how pretty. So there is our element layer, okay? Now we're not done because we're gonna mask inside. I'm gonna show you another technique for this. And we are going to grab a piece of, let's see, the Pale Papaya cardstock here. Because one of the things that I love about this stamp set is the coordinating dies. And so this leaf die here matches the stamps that we did, so you could die cut and stamp leaves. This leaf die here actually die cuts sort of, I don't know, freestyle leaves that are not perfect match. They're like an accessory item. And then there's this fall pumpkin accessory item. There's some Christmas ornaments, a Santa and sleigh element, along with a moon and stars. Like, this thing is fabulous. And then these snowflakes, hint, hint, so you might see these snowflakes before we're done today. All right, so I have my leaves, and I want to die cut these to put on here, but I really don't want them to be quite so harsh. I want to continue this soft look. And so instead of just die cutting them from Pale Papaya cardstock, I'm gonna grab my blending brushes again and add some smudges of color here. So I've got my Pale Papaya. I'm gonna use Poppy Parade. Okay, same as before. And then I'm gonna use our Rich Razzleberry. So we have a little bit of that on there, okay? And then I'm gonna take my leaves here. I'm gonna run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and wait for it, wait for it. The result is super gorgeous. So here are my die cut leaves, okay? So see how the color is just a little bit softer than just the plain Pale Papaya. It has just a little bit of that reddish tinge to it, a little purple in a couple places. And that is really gonna coordinate sort of this layer with the decorations on the front of our card. So let's bring in our Thankful stamp here, and I'm gonna use the sort of dominant color here, which is Blackberry or Rich Razzleberry. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp our Thankful on here, okay? And then we're going to add these leaves. Now, we're gonna bring this mask back in here for the inside of our card, and I'm gonna show you a trick with these pumpkins, so don't go away. Because actually, when I was planning my card, I was a little bit like, oh, wait, that was not what I expected with those pumpkin dies. So I'll show you the part that surprised me. But let's go ahead and pop some leaves on here. I think I'm gonna do 2 of them popped up with dimensionals, and then maybe the rest flat, just to have some kind of variety in our layering. Pop this on here. And then the rest of these, I'm just gonna stick with a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. And that's not where I wanted that, but that's where it's gonna be now because I got glue in my card. So I'll show you my other sample with sort of the different spacing, but this one is going to include a leaf that's up here. So I'm gonna kind of, I think, spread my leaves out this direction. So there's sort of some motion. You want, rather than having your leaves like, you know, make a ring around the rosy circle around my greeting, I want there to be some sort of movement to them. So I'm gonna pop this last one out here, okay? So not the movement that's on my sample, but this works too. And then there's no such thing as a mistake, right? It's just an opportunity. Let's see, Tanya says she loves the type of script that the Thankful. Yes, it's a really pretty serif font that just matches lots of things. There is some variety here too, these scripts for the Christmas, which you're gonna see in a little bit. All right, what rhinestones to add to this? Clearly the champagne ones. So I'm gonna grab these champagne rhinestones and just pop a couple of these on here with my take your pick tool. So let's see. All right, and maybe, there we go. Okay, so that sort of highlights our greeting. And then this part is to take my card base, which is just a half sheet of Very Vanilla. It's always a good idea to use thick vanilla when you're using your vanilla as a card base because it's just a little bit stronger. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this up and give us a little bit of spacing here on our layers, so that just that little shadow layer is going to be subtle. I know you're like, wait, why didn't you put an extra layer on it? This, I really want the stamping, the simple stamping on the front to speak for itself. So there is going to be the front of our card. Here's the one with a little different leaf placement. And now I'm going to show you the inside, which actually is, like I said, it was a little bit surprising to me. So I told you that I like these dies here. These little ones, they're perfect size for tags or cards. And so I grabbed this pumpkin die and went ahead and cut it because I like this little rectangle shape. And I ran it through my die cut machine and I got this. And I was like, wait, it didn't cut the edge. And then I thought, oh my gosh, that is the coolest, because it's gonna give us some really great possibilities for what things we can do with this. So I decided that I wanted to use this and go ahead and pop it, get some ink out of the way, inside our card down here. But I really want this to show up really well, and I want that silhouette to be highlighted. So back comes our mask. And I'm gonna pop this one here. Now I'm gonna do downhill just a little bit, and then I wanna make sure I have enough space. Nope, not quite. So that our full die cut, I'll just set this on here. So our full die cut fits, there we go, in our treated area. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back with our materials here. So same pale papaya and blending brush, and I'm gonna stick kind of to this side of the card here. And then I'm gonna bring back in our Poppy Parade. And of course you would wanna do this with your envelope too, so that you have a pretty envelope. And then last one is Rich Razzleberry. And I'm gonna fill in some of that spacing, kind of bring a hint of this around here, maybe a little bit up at the bottom. All right. And then, da-da-da, the reveal, always so pretty. And look at how gorgeous this little pumpkin guy fits down here. Isn't that great? Oh, Kelly says she really liked the polka dots from the front. Yeah, they really do make a difference. It's one of those stamps. It's kind of like that celebration set. I don't know if you guys have that one yet. If you don't, I highly recommend it. It's one of those utilitarian images that just is super handy to have for lots of things. Let me see, what was that one called? It's the free one, here it is. Textures and Frames is another one like this image. It's a whole set of those images that are just things that you're gonna want because they make connections. They are great backgrounds or highlighting. They're they don't jump out as like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. They're more of a, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I had that kind of thing. Does that make sense? All right, so there is our block there that's gonna finish that up, but I'll show you this finished one. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love the way this card comes together so that you have that pumpkin there on the inside. So then I was thinking, okay, there are so many possibilities with these. Wait a minute, what are these other dies here now? And even though, well, I was like 2 minutes late starting today because I had to make another card. So I was looking at this, even though I usually only show you one, I want to show you this card. So with these snowflakes, so same dies, same stamp set, all together, but we're going to use a total different, there we go. So there's that card all finished. We're gonna use a total different set of colors. So let me get rid of Poppy Parade and Pale Papaya and Rich Razzleberry, and instead bring in Smoky Slate, Bermuda Bay, and Pacific Point, okay? So we're gonna make a piece of cardstock here that is going to be the background of our panel, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to, I think I put my blending brushes away, Friday. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a panel that is gonna fit behind this gorgeous snowflake die. So it's gonna be kind of a peekaboo card, all right? And if you're not sure, just trust me, you'll get it by the end. So let's make another blended background. So a little Smoky Slate. Get this in here. I kind of start my, when I do these, I kind of start like at 2 points with my light color. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do like a crossway piece with the next color so that it kind of connects all the way across. All right. And I like this Bermuda Bay. I want it to be pretty saturated because we're gonna have a whisper or a basic white layer that is going to contrast. And then I'm gonna use my Pacific Point. And like I said, I have one for blues, so this is my blues. And I'm gonna add the Pacific Point kind of out here and fill in some space out here. Remember, with a dark color, always start off and then bring your blending brush onto your project so you're not startled with the intensity. And then maybe a little more darker in the middle, a Let's see. A little darker over here. I really want these blues to come through and be strong. All right, because we're gonna have a nice contrast with our white. And then check this out. See, no more colors really coming out of there. So if I wanna go back to my Bermuda Bay and finish that one off, I can. Blending brushes are fabulous. And then last, I'm gonna darken this gray here just a little bit more to match our intensity of our other colors. Okay, all right, you guys ready for this? Then I'm gonna take a Whisper White layer, just a card front, kind of like we did for the other one, and I'm gonna die cut the snowflakes there in the front. So through the magic of television, I already stamped our little greeting, which is also from the same stamp set, Season's Greetings. And look at this. Oh my gosh, right? Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? So I'm gonna flip this to the back and I'm gonna add a couple Stampin' Dimensionals, or even I'm going to use some strips because I really want to have some nice layer effect. So I'm gonna add some strips of my Stampin' Dimensionals up here and below so that they really set this aside. So let's go ahead and pop these two strips off. And I also did the back side of this. I kind of like the one we did together best. Let's see, I'm gonna do it this way so I make sure I get it settled. Okay, so that's on there. And then I might just go ahead and add some glue on here. And then peel off these backings. And then we're gonna embellish this one really quickly too. And then I'm gonna show you the fabulous stamp set and how it matches so nicely. Okay, we're gonna layer this on here. What do you guys think? Isn't that beautiful? I adore this. I adore this. And oh, Sue says wear plastic gloves for blending. Yeah, you can. Or you could just go through your day and know that you did something creative. Okay, so then bling for this one. I'm going to grab my blue gems, the blue adhesive back gems, and pop, let's see, well, maybe I am. There we go. Maybe a couple on the bottom. I usually use odd numbers, so there's 1, 2, and oh, I have a piece cut here. Let's see, 3. Okay, so there's the front of our card. I love these blue gems. They were in last year's holiday catalog, and I'm really glad that they came back. So they're in the annual catalog now. And then, like I said, on the inside, when you have a stamp that is just perfect, then I'm gonna stamp this one here on the corner, which actually haven't mounted yet. So if you haven't mounted a lot of stamp sets, you can check this tip out, at least how I do mine. So you're gonna peel the backing from the sticker sheet. You're gonna peel the backing from the stamp. Don't forget to do that. You need to take both backings off. And then I just leave it on here and I kind of eye around the edge and just set it down and then peel it up. So pretty quick and easy. So we'll grab this and let's see, I think Bermuda Bay is our color of choice. So I could actually take my blending brushes and change that color out a little bit, but maybe I'm not gonna worry about it too much, okay? And then if you want to, you can stamp on the back. I'm just gonna stamp off a tiny bit so it's a little bit lighter. And then you have sort of that hallmark spot stamped too. Don't forget to stamp your envelope. All right, last thing here I'll show since I have a new stamp set in my hand. I like to peel the label. Okay, maybe I should have peeled all the stamps first. I like to peel the label because I always want to know at a glance that I've got all of my stamps back in my case at the end of my stamping, that I haven't lost a tiny one someplace among my garbage. So what I do is I peel this backing and then I flip it over. If you can't remember where to flip it, then you'll know when you start to put stamps on. And then when I have my stamp to put away, so let's clean off this one right here. Then I can pop it onto my stamp case exactly where it belongs and know that all of those are put away exactly how they're supposed to be. So, all right, so that is the time of giving and the gift giving dies set, and lots of really fabulous possibilities. So if you were looking through looking through the book and looking for something that kind of encompasses fall and winter, this is a really great stamp set to choose because it will extend your season, you know, basically now through Christmas. So a great one to have. And like we said, it includes some of those basics stamps that you're just going to want for everything to have on hand for your projects. So, okay, somebody says, oh, Tanya said she's a blue person, so she likes the blue background. Trish said the dots would pop on the blended background. Oh yeah. Yes, you could definitely. I didn't put the dots in the background here, but you could put the dots in here and emboss them like in silver or white, like Trish suggested. That would be really pretty. Ooh, I kind of like that idea in the white. You could even emboss this behind it so you had the snowflakes maybe in that open space. Or if you kind of want the simple, clean look, then you could leave it just the way it is. So. All right, guys. Well, I hope that you have fabulous plans for your Friday and for your weekend. We will be checking out marching band and finishing their program and so forth. So I'm sure I'll be able to tell you about that on Monday. But if you are stamping and you have any stamp set handy, really this masking technique works for anything. If you don't have blending brushes yet, you'll want to get them. Link is in the video description. But in the meantime, you can use Stampin' sponges, you can use sponge daubers, all kinds of things are a great possibility, but the blending brushes definitely to add to your collection. So grab whatever stamp set you want, grab some long strips of, if you don't have big Post-it notes, you could use strips of just regular, you know, computer paper, typing paper, and try some masking techniques this weekend. So really simple, lots of fun, and you can go with whatever colors you need for, you know, your occasion. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching this Happy Friday, and I will see you back on Monday for more Maker Mornings with Meg videos and more cards. So happy stamping. Have a great weekend.